episode 5 of Safe Space. Today I am in a different setting. I am in my home. Whenever I have a guest on the podcast, you'll see us in the green room with the fire behind us. But if it's just going to be me, I'm going to keep it simple. So today's episode, I want to talk about double standards because there's so many double standards in dating, and I feel like it's very negatively affecting a lot of people's dating experience. So you guys can just let me know what you think about my double standards in the comments. My first double standard, like, that I do not agree with is men paying for everything. Now, am I an advocate for 50-50? I say it depends. A lot of people, I think the average is like 40 or 50K a year, and life is getting expensive. So if you and your partner make under 50K, I personally don't see what's wrong with, splitting on stuff, just for the simple fact that you have to understand, if somebody is making $50,000 a year and they barely have any wiggle room outside of their bills, you're still expecting this man to take you on dates, buy you gifts, and be able to provide for himself and save. That's a lot of pressure on one person. So I would say, and most of us are average Americans, the whole 50-50 thing, don't force it if this man is not making over 50K. This is just my personal opinion. Now, if he is making over 50K and he can afford to take you on dates, buy you nice things, and cover all household expenses, I do still feel like it's messed up for your pockets to be closed to him. I do feel like everything should be reciprocated. So if he's taking you on nice dates and buying you nice things and giving you experiences, I feel like it's only fair that you do that for him every once in a while. It'll be greatly appreciated. We usually treat people how we want to be treated. So if he's treating you that way, why wouldn't you treat him to anything? And it's like, you can show you have value outside of your vagina, like just being there, talking to him and sleeping with him, honestly, is not enough. It's not enough. I feel like we're both human beings. Men and women are human beings. So if you're giving, and barely receiving, after a while, that's going to get tiring. Not saying this is a foolproof way for you to not get cheated on or anything like that. I'm just saying, care for the person who's caring for you. So my second double standard is threesomes, and this is more geared towards the men. I absolutely hate it when men ask their heterosexual partners for a threesome. If this woman is not attracted to women, it's unfair. And if you're not willing to give her a threesome with another guy, then that conversation shouldn't even come up. And I know a lot of stories of women who had threesomes, and it kind of makes a man feel like, okay, well, I have permission to sleep with somebody else. So he ends up going outside of that threesome setting and, being with the third wheel again. So I just think, honestly, that's just a bad idea. Nobody should partake in threesomes unless the woman is bisexual and this is what she wants. Number 3, cheating. It is a big double standard. They say when women cheat, they cheat for emotional reasons. When men cheat, it's purely sexual. I feel that even when men cheat, it's for an emotional reason. So even if they're saying that it's for a sexual reason, are you sexually fulfilled at home? Probably not. What did this woman do that the next woman didn't do? Now, I'm not saying that it is your fault or you deserve to get cheated on. I just do feel that cheating happens because of lack of something. Now, there are some men who just, in their singleness, practice being with multiple women at the same time. So when a man is moving like that in his singleness, sleeping with whoever he wants, whenever he wants, and he has no sexual discipline, it's going to be hard for him to settle down with one woman. A man would have to get kind of tired of living that lifestyle, and he would have to want something sacred, something secure, something that's just for him. But if he's not there yet, then that's a story for another day. But when men cheat and they say, oh, it was just sex, it didn't mean nothing, and expect to get forgiven 100 times, if a woman cheats, she'll never be able to say oh, it's just sex, it was nothing, it didn't mean anything to me, I still love you, and be taken back. And I feel like, honestly, it's not a bad thing that men do not take women back that often for cheating. I feel like women should follow men's lead in that. Like, no matter how bad the man is, he's still going to have standards for himself. He's still going to have boundaries that you're going to have to, live by and respect. And I feel like women should have the same thing. At the end of the day, it's about communication and self-control. If you're feeling the urge to go and be with another woman, why can't that be a conversation in your relationship? Like, hey babe, this is how I'm feeling. Like, this is what I'm lacking. I need a little bit more of this. I'm starting to get curious. You don't know what that could do for, one, y'all's trust, and two, it'll bring y'all closer together. So I think that's a double standard. Men being forgiven 1,000 times for cheating and women not being forgiven at all. I feel that men and women both should not be forgiven for cheating, honestly, just because it has long-term psychological effects. It's a traumatic experience for someone that goes into their next relationships oftentimes. I know a lot of people who get cheated on once or twice, and now their mindset is all men cheat, or all women cheat, or everybody's trash, So that does determine how you look at dating and relationships in the opposite sex moving forward. Number 4, child custody. Now, I might get some backlash for this. I am not a mother, so I don't really know like that mother-child bond, but I do feel like it is a double standard. If a man is a weekend dad, like if he gets his kids every other week or every weekend and he's paying child support, he's an amazing dad. But let the roles be reversed and the man has full custody and the woman is getting her kids every weekend or every other weekend and she's the one paying child support, then it's just like, she's not that great of a mother. How could she abandon her kids like that? I feel like that's a very toxic double standard. I do personally believe whoever was pushing for the children, whether it be in the marriage or the relationship, whoever wanted the children more is who should have full custody of the kids. So sometimes women do have kids for the sake of their man. Like, they could be indifferent about having children, but if their man wants kids, it's like, okay, I'll have a kid for him. And not to say that children are a burden. Children are a blessing. But being a single mother is burdensome. Like, it's heavy. That is a heavy load to bear. You have to do everything. Like, you have to be everything. And especially when you have, like, sons, like, a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. Only a man can teach a man how to be a man. So, honestly, it might even be more beneficial for the child to be, with their dad, as opposed to with their mom all the time, especially if it's a boy. But I just don't like it that, like, if a man doesn't have full custody, he's still deemed a good father just for doing the bare minimum. But if it was a woman, if she had a big career and her kids were with the dad, like, she's looked down upon. Like, we're made out to be something that we're not, which is superwoman. We are not a superhero. We cannot do all things and still have time for us. So that double standard, I would love to abolish that. And whatever works for you guys, works for you guys. If there's any mothers out there who have their kids on the weekend or who pay child support, there is nothing wrong with that. I just don't like that double standard that a man can do the bare minimum and be considered great. But if a woman makes one mistake, or if, she's not the primary caretaker of her children, she's less than. And number 5, Homo Eroticism. I just made a video on my TikTok talking about this. We call men who want to be with their friends all the time, who overshare. Men will share the nudes of the women that they've been dealing with, will just choose their homeboys over a woman every day. Their emotions and their minds and their hearts are with the men in their lives, and they get their sexual satisfaction out of women. We find that to be very homoerotic, and those type of men usually make terrible romantic partners because their focus is elsewhere. It's outside of their romantic relationship. I was just talking about this the other day and making a correlation that, like, women are the same way. I know plenty single women who are happily single, which, great for you. I'm happy that you're happily single. And they are very close with their female friends. Like, It's women who will send each other playlists and be romantic with each other, which, if you're not looking for a relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are looking for a relationship, you have to dial it back a little bit. I understand that a platonic relationship and a romantic relationship, they're both relationships, but the level of intimacy should be different in each relationship. So I find amongst women, like, whenever we're talking about our sexual experiences with our friends, we go into great detail. I'm starting to think that this is a little homoerotic. Like, it's great that you feel that comfortable with your friend, but there should be some boundaries in place. Your friends don't need to know every waking detail of your life or of your relationship, because then it seems like it's you and your friend in your relationship instead of you and your partner in your relationship. So I'm starting to see that, like, women can be homoerotic too, and I do feel like it messes with, it taints your romantic relationship and the success rate with that, because a lot of women are actually extremely emotionally unavailable because all of their emotions are tied up into their friendships. And I don't think that a lot of people think about that or even take that into consideration, that you're not actually emotionally available. You're in love with your homegirl. You know, like, I've made a video talking about how, like, we should dial back a little bit when it comes to that and let our friends be our friends and our romantic partners be our romantic partners. And a great way to know if you have this balance, especially if you're questioning yourself, like, well, am I homoerotic with my friendships? Like, am I prioritizing my friendships over my romantic relationships? This is a great way to tell. If you are in a relationship and you are on a once-a-week basis with your friends, if you were to be single, would you still be on a once-a-week basis with your friends, or would it be once a day? I feel if your friendships and the consistency of your friendships stay the same, whether you're in a romantic relationship or not, then there's balance. And sometimes some women and some men can prioritize their romantic relationship over their friendships, which is also detrimental, because the quality of our lives is based off of the quality of our relationships, romantic and platonic. So there should be a balance. And you can ask yourself in a relationship, like, do I see my friends more, less, or even? If you're seeing your friends less while being in a relationship, then there might be an imbalance there. And I do understand in the beginning, like, the psychology behind falling in love and having a new relationship. You are literally obsessed with the new person that you're talking to, because your serotonin levels, which is the feel good and the relaxation levels, are lower, and it causes obsession with the next person. It's a cocaine-like high. Like, your brain is literally reacting to this person and these new chemicals as if you were high off of cocaine. So I can understand that. And, like, you're gonna lose at least 2 close friends, like, when falling in love. So that is normal too, because we only have the capacity for 5 close relationships in our lives. And when we're in a relationship, our romantic partner takes up 2 of those spaces. So now we're down to, like, 3 close relationships. But are you even talking to those other 3 people? You know, like, is it taking you away from everything else? You want to make sure that that's all balanced. But the whole homoerotic situation, I went on a tangent there, but the whole homoerotic situation, I feel like that's a double standard. We expect for men to, like, not be up their homeboys' asses, while women are still having, like, sleepovers and stuff like that. Like, we're still up our homegirls' asses. So, like, it's a double standard, really. And it all needs to be fixed. I feel like if we fix these double standards and level the playing field, the dating scene will look totally different. I feel like since the whole city girl era and women saying, like, hey, men are going to get over on you anyway, so you might as well get what you can while you can and dip. That has put fear in a lot of men's hearts. So that's why now men are like, so what are you bringing to the table? Because they don't want to be responsible for the whole financial part of the relationship, which is understandable, because not even me as a woman, just me as a human being, like I would not want to be solely responsible for the financial part, and all I get is a thank you and some wee wee at the end of the day. Like, that's not enough for me. I want reciprocity, and me being a human being with emotions and a man being a human being with emotions, I'm sure he would want the same. And the whole threesome thing, like, I feel like a lot of the times, like, if a woman is straight and she's doing that, it's coming from a place of insecurity, or her saying, like, I don't want to seem insecure. I don't want to be that insecure girl. So they do something that they're not actually comfortable with. It's more damaging. It does more bad than good. And then the whole cheating thing, like, I believe no one should take a cheater back. It doesn't matter the reason. If it's an emotional reason and you were not grown enough to express yourself, then I mean, that's on you. You need to be a little bit more emotionally mature. And once a cheater, always a cheater, you know? Well, I'm going to say, not once a cheater, always a cheater. Although studies have shown if somebody has cheated in the past, they're 3 times more likely to cheat in their, future relationships. However, I can say once a cheater, always a cheater on you. So if a man knows that he can cheat on you and you're going to cry and take him back, guess what he's going to do next time? He's going to cheat, and he knows you're going to cry and take him back. He's going to think, oh, she ain't never leaving me. So keep that in mind. And it destroys your self-esteem. As a woman, I feel like it's a subconscious message to yourself saying, like, I am not worthy of a faithful man whenever you take a cheater back. You can forgive him, but I just feel like if you're not going to get your lick back, leave. That's the only, you're going to have to demand some respect after that point. But I still don't think that it's a good idea for anybody to be with a cheater. And then the child custody thing, I really do feel like if it wasn't the double standard of, men being good dads just for having their kids on the weekend and women being bad moms if they were to have their kids on the weekend, and it was more normalized for men to, like, take their kids, like, full custody of their kids, men would be more careful of who they slept with, and it wouldn't be babies all everywhere. Because I sometimes feel like men see having a kid with a woman as a bookmark. I'm going to always have you. I'm going to always have access to you because you have my child. As to where if you gave him his child back, then you determine how much access he has, and you're the one reaching out, as far as quality time with your children. So I feel like that would put a lot more responsibility on men, and they would be more careful about, like, when and who they procreate with. Yeah, that's about it. My 5 double standards that I feel need to be fixed: men paying for everything, threesomes, cheating, child custody, and Homo Eroticism. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. And if y'all have any questions or crazy stories that you guys would like for me to go over or read or give my input on, or even any, like, video suggestions that you guys would want to see, you guys can follow on our Instagram, the Safe Space Podcast, and DM and let us know. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will hope to see you next time.